everything that I read, talk about is all about clinical medicine because we see warm bodies on a daily basis. We deal with their challenges and problems and the limitations of modern medicine. I wrote a book a few years ago, which became very popular called as Change Your Schedule, Change Your Life. I live and practice in the Bay Area in Silicon Valley here, where working 15, 16 hours is a norm. Okay, so everyone works, everyone is overworked, everybody is running around. As soon as they open their eyes, they are working. Till the last thing what they do, when before they close their eyes, they're still working. Their work schedule is online and offline as they open their eyes and everything. And they're dealing with teams in Taiwan and China and India and Europe and all kinds of time zones and things like that. So the circadian disruption that these people that I was seeing in my clinical practice was the reason why I wrote that book, because their schedules was dictating their physiology. They were becoming overweight, they were getting premature heart attacks, they were having type 2 diabetes way too early, all the kind of diseases that you would expect in 60s and 70s, they were having in their 30s and 40s because of the circadian disruption. And one of the biggest thing was time scarcity. They didn't have time for themselves to do anything. They had money, okay? So we were cash rich, but time poor, as I call it. And that time poverty was the reason. If I tell them to meditate, oh God, I don't have time to sit down and close my eyes. If I send them to a yoga class, God, that's a waste of time. It's so painfully slow. And tell me something to do in 5 minutes, I can get on a machine and I'll be out of it. So the impatience that is breeding and developing because of this fast-paced life that we have was affecting their physiology. And one of the biggest things that they were compensating the time was shortening their sleep time. They were waking up early and sleeping late. And whatever time they were in bed, they were not able to sleep properly. So that led to this next book called as Awakened Sleep. Because so far in modern medicine, we only know about the mechanics of sleep. And you have interviewed so many authors, you're well read and you understand this very well. We just know about the stages of sleep. We still don't know why we sleep, why the entire humanity sleeps, why the entire creation sleeps. And there's a mystical quality about sleep, which the Vedic culture talks about, that it's a definitely an important piece of your nurturing, nourishing, re-energizing, because the quality of your day begins the night before. A good day begins the night before. So if you're not paying attention to the quality of the sleep that you're sleeping in the night, then you invariably wake up and walk around feeling tired. We have people where in their body there are rivers of caffeine flowing through them. People drink 4, 5, 6 cups of caffeine, energy drinks, this and that all day long. Because number one symptom that I see in clinical practice, whether it's men or women, that they are tired. And I think the energizing solution, we are not using it properly. And I often say that one of the most potent anti-inflammatory activity and the immune boosting activity that one will ever do is sleep. And it doesn't cost you anything. You just have to program it, go to bed at a proper time your schedule. The pillars of health from an Ayurvedic medicine perspective is diet, sleep, and exercise. We are not here to pay our bills and pay 30-year mortgages and this and that, but take good care of our bodies. Because we look at the latest science of longevity, we look at the latest science of chronobiology, we look at the latest science of metabolic diseases and disorder. It boils down to how much you participate in your own health and well-being. And if you have no time for yourself for any self-care rituals, then any HMO is not going to help you. You can't outsource your health to someone else to take care of you. You have to participate in your own health. You have to go to sleep at a proper time. You have to clock that. You have to figure out your evening routine properly. So awakened sleep is another stark reminder that, yes, we know enough about what happens when people are sleep deprived, but we don't know enough apart from giving them tools, take magnesium, take melatonin, do this, do that. We don't know enough What can you do in order to use your sleep as a gateway to higher state of awareness? Think about it for a moment, okay? Because it's as if that we are doing a dress rehearsal of dying every night. And you go to the same place where you and me will be gone long after we are gone. At that stage, we are completely gone. The ego identity dissolves. You are no more the same person when your senses are withdrawn and you are in a state of deep sleep. So what happens is that you go to sleep, and if you properly program it and you create a wonderful evening ritual before you sleep, then you actually tap into the field of creativity. So many inventions that you know are created in deep sleep, discovered in deep sleep. The DNA structure by Watson Crick was discovered in deep sleep. The periodic table of Mendeleev was discovered in deep sleep. So many inventions. The benzene ring that we talk about, the structure, about the snake coiling itself, was discovered in sleep. Because when you withdraw your senses, your mind connects to the greater field of consciousness and potentiality from where the knowledge emerges. So awakened sleep is not just going to sleep, but using sleep as an extension to your meditation practice. There was an interesting research article published in the Atlantic not long ago. And the research article said that people would prefer to get electric shocks than being alone with their own thoughts. People would prefer to get electric shocks than be alone with themselves with their own thoughts. I jokingly say, if you're alone and feeling lonely, then you're in a bad company. And I think that is the current sad situation in the society, where that loneliness, we have so many virtual friends, but nobody to talk to. And that loneliness is the fear. And that fear becomes really, really strong when you're in bed by yourself. Darkness, fear of unknown, death, all of those becomes reality at that time when you're tossing and turning by yourself in the bed. And so awakened sleep is all about dispelling that fear. It's creating and cultivating some degree of grace and faith and trust in divine and higher state of awareness. And there's been nothing new. It's been one of the most ancient tradition to pray before you go to sleep. Is that right? Pray as soon as you wake up, pray right before you go to sleep. Why? We acknowledge the higher state of consciousness, the energy that surrounds us. And we allow ourselves to be in that cocoon of comfort so that we trust it and we feel comfortable. And if you cultivate that through self-reflective journaling, through discussion, through listening to certain chants, through some positive affirmation, through some self-care rituals of maybe an oil massage or a hot shower or some aromatherapy or reading an uplifting book or things like that, those all help. And you don't have to believe in God. You have to believe in Mother Nature. Is that right? Something is creating night and light. Is that right? Something is creating change of seasons. Something is making the flowers bloom. Something is creating the flowers shed all the leaves and regrow one more time. There's an innate intelligence in Mother Nature that at least you see and believe objectively. That's what we're talking about. Because going to sleep at that time is the nature of your body. Your nature is not to stay awake and watch all the late night shows till 1 o'clock in the night and think about them and worry about the fate of the country for the entire night thereafter. That's not what you're meant to do. We are violating the basic laws of living. The birds know it. They leave the nest at dawn, come back at dusk. We are the one, we have forgotten the basic rules. And we don't have to believe in one God, one deity, one religion. Spirituality is nothing to do with religion, I would say. The word spirituality, frankly, Jake, comes from the Latin word inspire. Inspire means inspire, to breathe in, and expire means breathe out. To breathe in, inhale, and exhale. That's what spirituality is. To live in the moment, to be present, and to keep yourself alive. That's what spirituality is. But I think how you can modulate that is with the degree of mindfulness. Okay, so before you go to sleep, just take few moments for yourself. Sit down at the edge of the bed, gently close your eyes, take few deep breaths, express your gratitude for whatever you believe and whatever you love. It could be your children, it could be your parents, it could be your lovely wife, it could be anything. Or be thankful that you live in a beautiful part of the country, you're safe, secure, you have some money in the bank, you're doing the job that people love and respect you. All of those things that you're grateful for. And just that intention sets the tone for the rest of the night. And the same that you do it in the morning. You wake up and gosh, it's a brand new day. You were horizontal for so many hours and you end up in becoming vertical very soon right now. So be thankful for that. Again, take a few nice deep breaths because you can't rush into things. And I'm not talking about 30, 40, 1 hour or anything. I'm talking about a few minutes for yourself. And it changes the tone, everything. We use an acronym called as SODA. SODA is stop. As soon as you wake, don't rush. Just sit at the edge of the bed, stop. Observe, ask a quick question. How do you feel? Do you think that you got a good night's sleep? Do you feel you have enough energy to start with the day? Are you feeling anxious because the whole day is ahead of you? What you're doing is observing. Stop, observe, and then detach with that experience. You just brush that aside, detach, take a few deep breaths, and act. Start. Because what you're feeling is feeling. But don't let that feeling translate into a physiological response, keeping and telling yourself that I'm exhausted, tired, I can't do this, I can't do that. Because what you feel is genuine. But with a simple breath, you can brush aside that emotion. And that is a mindful way of separating yourself from the internal clutter. And if you are able to do that, then you reprogram the physiology. We call it as the vagus nerve, because when you are in rush, that vagus nerves create this fight or flight. So you don't want to be in a fighting mode, because that's what most of the people do. They wake up like a warrior mode to do the battle. Is that right? Battle through the traffic, battle through the challenges with their children and kids and this and that. So you're battling with something on a daily basis because of that. Or you're fleeing away from it. You just don't want to talk about it. You wish to run away from it. So you're into a fight or flight mode, especially when you're sleeping, when you're trying to unwind, rest, relax. You want to be doing certain things which is minimizing the load onto your nervous system.